Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 3 of Football versus Life. This video is sponsored by nobody because we haven't got to that stage yet. Alongside me, Joshua Pemberton, as always, is Mr. Michael Bradshaw. Michael, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Although we don't have sponsors, we can pretend. This one is sponsored by this kind of Schweppes.
This kind of Schweppes
Schweppes.
and this kind of
When you're
Coke.
thirsty.
Now, if any of you have watched the first 2 episodes, you'll know that it's usually Michael and myself chatting, well, waffling a lot. But you'll notice there's a third screen, and that's because I've roped a guest into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please may I welcome my dear friend, Mr. Jimmy Nuttall. Hi, Jimmy.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me on. I'd like to apologise for 2 things first. The first one is this double chin that I'm sporting after just recently shaving my beard. So I apologise for that. And the second thing is, I haven't got an amazing background like you guys. I've got these gaslit curtains behind me. So
the background's easy to do. You just go on the internet. If you're using your computer, that is. But if you're using your phone, I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm unpacking at the moment, so I can only do it on my phone. So
Let me just give some context into how I know Mr. Nuttall. 11 years ago this September. No, 12 years ago this September, we embarked on a theatre course at Plymouth University, and much as the theatre course was a lot to be desired, the social aspect was fun. And Jimmy's actually probably the main reason I came out here in the first place. So the reason why, Michael, you've been graced with my presence. If you need to blame somebody, it's the guy wearing green and white.
Damn you, Jimmy. Damn you.
Yeah. Here's a fun thing. I bet you've never been in the same online setting with 2 people from Crew, Jimmy.
Oh, you're also from Crew?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, for my sins.
I've never met 2 people from Crew simultaneously. That is a
no, neither had I.
Yeah, I know quite a few people. There are quite a few people here from Crew that I've met.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
are they diehard Alexander supporters or not?
No, not really.
No. I'm sure there's some of them.
Yeah, there's one. Someone has to be.
Someone has to be, yeah.
So, as a prerequisite for any guest that comes on the show, I have said to them that they need to do a 1 to 11 of the team they support of their all-time favourite players. Now, this is the thing. Jimmy has 2 clubs that he supports equally, which I'm going to let you explain. So go on. Give us a bit of backstory into your footballing life.
Oh, so basically, I mean, I grew up as a youngster being brought up as a Liverpool fan, basically, because my dad watched the teams of the 70s and the 80s and, was he's self-confessed glory supporter. So because he supported Liverpool, I had to support Liverpool. But of course, I started supporting Liverpool in the 90s when we won bugger all but a League Cup. It was a difficult time in terms of trophies, but in terms of players, I mean, you were watching the likes of McManaman, Fowler, Owen, all these kind of players. So it was a delight. And then kind of on the other side, I also it's not for my whole life, but for most of my life, I've also been interested in Celtic. That's I mean, we used to go on holiday to Scotland a lot. My dad would always talk about some kind of friendship between Liverpool and Celtic. And then I actually had a friend when I was in primary school. I used to kick about with in the village, and he would always be out in his full Celtic strip. So we kind of would chat about football, and it got me more and more into Celtic that way and stuff like that. So yeah, I've got these 2 11s, which has taken me a long time mulling over, but I think I've got it.
I ask all the questions, but was there a particular? So obviously you mentioned that you grew up being a Liverpool fan, so-called glory supporter. Imagine living in a world where being a Liverpool fan is seen as being a glory supporter.
Yeah.
That's unusual, because obviously we've grown up knowing that, if you're a United fan in the 90s, you're a glory supporter. Again, United fans, if you want to come on the podcast, this is
exactly, yeah.
So who's your local team?
Yes, there you go.
Oh, my local team, well, because I was born in Blackpool, so my local team would have been Blackpool, but here's another twist to the story. Actually, if I was to choose, I'm more of a Preston fan because my grandmother is a Preston fan. So even though when I was 6 years old, I went to the Blackpool FC summer school, right? Everybody's there decked out in orange, and I was there in my bright yellow Liverpool kit. I think it was like was it like the 98? It was either the 97, 98
What,
kit or
with
the
the
98,
red
99.
writing on
Yeah,
it.
I remember it.
Yeah, yeah.
Carlsberg.
So
Mm.
I've never been able to get into Blackpool. My dad tried taking me to a game and I just flat out refused. I said, they wear orange,
Forget
I'm
it.
not going.
I've been in
Yeah.
Blackpool. The best part's the road out of it. When I was a kid,
But if you're gonna
Blackpool was a
support two
great place to
teams-
go to. What was that?
If you're going to support two teams, Liverpool and Celtic are like kind of intertwined somehow.
Well, they both sing
Like
that
with
you never
the-
walk alone, don't they?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So
It's interesting this because like people have different takes on it, and obviously you always get people who are like, oh well, maybe United have this thing with Celtic, and maybe this, or maybe maybe Everton are more close with Celtic and stuff like that. You get like a big kind of debate about it, but I think ultimately because they both come out of like these two kind of working class port cities, and they had like a lot of like Irish immigration and all that kind of stuff. So there tends to be this kind of like, oh, the mindset of the fans seems to be kind of more similar in that sense as well. So I think, yeah, there are people like that with East as well, obviously, kind of bring the clubs together and stuff. So, yeah.
True.
which lineup are you going to
Sooners.
go regale with us first?
Oh, let me do Celtic first because, yeah.
Go on.
Okay, so with Celtic, I kind of realized that if you go back in history, even though obviously domestic Celtic are a giant throughout history, there's only kind of like two periods where you can think that's an amazing team. That's like a great team, like that stands out, and that's like 1967, of course, which I didn't see at all. And then you got 2003, where they got to the Europa League final or UEFA Cup as it was then. So I'm not saying that my lineup particularly addresses those two teams. I've got a few additions from both, but I say only one actually from 1967 because I was talking with you earlier. So you were kind of like, when we're doing these lineups, can we try and make them kind of within our lifetime? I thought that's a fair point. But there's one person that I cannot take, and that's Tiki Johnson. Tiki Johnson, should I say, who was in the 1967 lineup, almost kind of like a Scottish Tom Finney, like agile and winger and just one of those absolutely class players. So he's in there. But let's start from the top. So goalkeeper, I've got Arthur Borwick.
Nice.
This was a hard one because I've got Forster as well, but in the end I thought I'll go with him. Then I've got, and apologies for my pronunciation here because I forget how to pronounce most of these names. Didier Agath.
Didier Agath. Oh, what a beast!
Yeah. He's just phenomenal. And then Mjolby.
Mjolby.
Who,
Nice.
yeah.
The fair golden-headed Swede.
Golden-headed Swede, indeed. And then unfortunately, I had to pilfer him from my Liverpool lineup and put him in my Celtic lineup. VVD.
Oh, Virgil van Dijk.
Of course, yes.
Virgil van Dijk. Because
still a beast then.
He was briefly at Celtic and did pretty well. And then Bald. Is it Bald or Balde?
Oh, Bobo Balde.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm particularly happy. I've already mentioned Jinky Johnston. And then who else is on the wing? Do you reckon? One of my favourite players, Celtic players of all time.
Is it
Josh,
James
you might be able to guess.
Forrest?
It is indeed James Forrest. Imagine the pace on either wing there. And then, this is where it was easy for me to put Neil Lennon in. Okay, Neil Lennon was going in any day of the week. But who else did I put in there? And I eventually had to settle with Nakamura.
That would work because like in the modern game, if you had that, you'd have Lennon as sort of your holding midfielder and give Nakamura and that man's free kicks.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
You just
still
need
remember the one against United.
Like Coutinho was at Liverpool, that kind of like they could just knock in a goal from somewhere, and it was, yeah. And then up front, any day of the week, Larsson and Sutton. Firstly, Sutton's one of the most underrated English strikers of the modern era, and Larsson just speaks for himself. Like absolute legend of the club.
Have you ever watched something on BT Sport called What I Wore?
Yes, the Larsson one, right?
The Larsson one. He said that Chris Sutton was the best striker he ever played with, and this is a man who played in a Barcelona side that had Ronaldinho feeding him, and who rocked up at United when they had Rooney and Tevez at one point. Oh no, just Rooney and Ronaldo. So
probably just throwing him a bone, to be honest.
No, but to be fair, Jimmy will rightfully say, Larson and Sutton up front. I watched a few Old Firm games when they were part of it. You couldn't touch them. You really couldn't.
No, but I mean, Chris Sutton, really? Better
Chris
than all
Sutton.
those
I think
players?
this is
Come
the thing
on.
about Chris
Come
Sutton.
on. Come on.
Because it's the England thing, right, with Chris Sutton. It's because he pissed off Hoddle, so
He
you don't
did.
hear about him as much. If he'd never
Mm.
pissed off Hoddle, I think he would have been much bigger than he was. You know what I mean? He'd won the Premier League with Blackburn with Alan Shearer. There was a reason he was partnered with the likes of Shearer and Larson. And no one denies that Shearer and Larson are like some of the greatest strikers of that
They
kind
are.
So
And
I
the thing
think
you've got to
it's
consider
kind of telling.
It is. And the thing you've got to consider is he banged in the goals at Norwich and went in the season when Norwich were, fighting for the league title. I think it was 92, 93. Goes to Blackburn, does exactly the same with Shearer. Chelsea, not so good.
Yeah.
And then gets a chance at Celtic where, and he still loves Celtic to this day. So no, yeah, Chris Sutton, take away how terrible he is as a pundit, and at some point in a future podcast, we will be doing a ratings list of
We'll have him on.
commentators. I mean,
Let's have him on. Let's have Chris.
Chris, are you doing anything?
yeah, Chris. I hope you see this. We'll have you on.
Please do. Right. Thoughts on the Celtic squad, Michael? Because to be fair, Michael, how much are you in tune with Scottish football?
I mean, being in China, it's hard to follow the football.
Yes.
There were some fan favorites that I missed, like John Hartson. Would have been nice to see him in there.
John Hartson, he would have been,
Yeah, it's a good shout. I didn't realize
Now sponsored by
Arthur played
Perrier.
for you guys.
Yeah.
Scott Brown.
Scott Brown, Scott Brown.
Scott Brown. I do have a few honourable mentions. It was really hard. I've got all these leftover names that should have gone in there.
You seem to be packed in midfield, like Scott Brown, Petrov.
Oh, Petrov.
Some good names.
Oh, yeah, Petrov was on my honourable mentions as well, yeah.
Another defender that I remember from Celtic was, two of them were Stanislav Varga and Yusuf Al-Hedon.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Ager as well.
Christopher Ager, yeah, he's decent. And a lot of these players have kind of done well in Scotland, and they're legends who are at Celtic, but perhaps haven't done well elsewhere. And on the flip side, I was really toying, and this is a controversial decision as well as somebody being a Liverpool fan, but I was almost toying with putting Keane in there on the premise that Roy Keane, if he'd have gone to Celtic earlier, what kind of player would he have been? Do you know what I mean? Because when he went to Celtic, it was he was about to retire, right? He'd gone because he fell out with Fergie, and then he went.
Yeah.
And but what kind of team would they have been almost if they'd have had him earlier as well? So, but if we're looking at it from when he joined, then he doesn't make the 11.
That's fair. Right. So, in Michael's Liverpool lineup, he went against the whole having 11 players on the pitch and decided to have 12 because he went for a front five of Salah, Mane, who was it? Salah, Mane, Torres, Suarez.
Yeah.
Firmino as well?
There's no way I was separating.
Well, this is the problem. It's
for me.
so difficult to choose.
And I had Jimmy Traore at left back.
Yeah, for some reason, Jimmy. Yeah.
He scored that great goal for Burnley, I remember.
Yeah.
Just a fan favourite.
Yeah.
Fan favourite, hitting his balls on the post and everything.
Here's the thing, Michael's...
I've got to say...
Yeah?
Go on.
No. Michael's thing was... with Yonan Arisa, as well as his goals, was just for the fact that he hit a football hard it broke a man's leg.
Yeah. Oh, that man.
And a United player at that.
Yeah.
So, Carrot, what were you about to say?
What was I about to say? Where were we on? Oh, I forgot now. Don't worry, it wasn't that important. It's already escaped me, so don't worry.
So, with that, Liverpool lineup. Who are you going
Liverpool lineup. There we go. Let's move on to it. So, this one was even more difficult. Right. So, I just put Dalglish as player manager just there. He's manager, so he doesn't necessarily have to be on the pitch. He's just there because I think Dalglish is, he's the best Liverpool manager in my opinion, I know that's contentious because there's been great Liverpool managers, but I think the fact that he was a player manager as well, and the things that he had to deal with, kind of politically as well, during his time, I think he was, the man to put there. So I put him there. Now for goalkeeper, I mean, there's many we could have gone. Grobbelaar, we could have gone. I mean, I was even going to go for an old favourite that I used to like watching, even though he was there briefly, like Sander Westerveld or something like that. But in the end, I went for Alisson, because I just think he's. If we're talking about a good goalkeeper, who would you want in there? I think there's no one better than Alisson.
I think
really.
also with Alisson is the profound effect. Like Klopp indicated that Alisson and Virgil van Dijk were the two pieces in the puzzle needed to get Liverpool a league title. And was it in his first season that he won the league, or was it in his second season?
Was it?
No, first season they won the Champions League.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
First season they won the Champions League.
Season, yeah.
That epic win against Barcelona. Oh, I was at your house.
Yeah, exactly.
I was at your house in Shanghai because you woke me up the next morning like, we won!
Oh, yeah.
I took a sick day off work so I could watch the highlights. I was like, woke up to the result, was like, no way, I've got to watch this now.
I still watch it, gives me goosebumps. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, yeah, so Alisson, then I've gone, obviously, he was more centre-back towards the end of his tenure, but I've gone Carragher right back. And then this is a very kind of nostalgic early 2000s defence. I've got Carragher, Hyypiä, Onshaw, and Reece.
Oh!
Yes. And the reason for this is because I think it was the season when we came second or something, and we had like the best defensive record in the league. So that's kind of why I've gone with those players, particularly like Hyypiä and Onshaw. I used to have the Onshaw on the back of my shirt during that year.
Forgotten man.
Onshaw was great.
So I had to revive him.
And Sami Hyypiä is a beast.
Yeah. Those two in defence, just amazing. And then with the right midfield, we're going to go for John Barnes. Obviously, solid. And then the midfield to Alonso and Gerrard.
Classic.
Xabi Alonso is one of the... Xabi Alonso. Look at me making up names. Xabi Alonso. I think I was going to say the fabulous Xabi Alonso. Yeah. Xabi Alonso, in my opinion, is like one of the best players of all time. Just what he could do is fantastic. So we got Alonso and Gerrard, and then I've gone with McManaman. Oh, yeah, hours I could talk about McManaman. One of the most
how good he was.
Oh yeah, so good. One of the best, if not the best, English player to go and play abroad. I mean, what did he win? Like two Champions Leagues with Real Madrid or something?
He won. I was reading about Steve McManaman earlier before we started this. He won 8 trophies. But did you know, actually, prior to winning, I think, the second of his Champions Leagues, Real Madrid were trying to get rid of him.
Oh, really?
They were trying to sell him because they didn't want him. And he was like, no, I have a contract until 2004. I'm not leaving. And apparently he earned the respect of the likes of Zidane and Figo and Ronaldo because of that. And he's the most successful British. I think he still probably is the most successful Brit to play abroad.
Yeah. Because he's got that personality where he went and learned Spanish, I think, and he integrated a bit more. Like he actually.
I know Beckham is credited as the man that put football on the map in the US. But when you look at how many trophies he won in his career at Real Madrid, he didn't win anywhere near as many. He didn't win a Champions League, and he was signed as part of the Galacticos era.
Yeah, exactly. Steve McManaman. I mean, I remember buying this shirt on eBay. I must have been about 2005, and I was even then I was getting nostalgic for. I don't know why we won the Champions League that year, but I was getting nostalgic for like 90s Liverpool shirts and footballers, and I found on eBay this McManaman shirt from '97, I think it was, with McManaman 7 on the back, and it was huge. It was like something like 3XL, and I was just a teenage lad, right? So I've always been small. And I wore it like every day, and until I accidentally put it in the wash, like and the because they would have felt numbers, and it melted.
So it would come off.
Now I know about how to keep a football shirt nice, but back then as a kid, So just taking a moment to remember that shit.
A moment of silence for our fallen colleague.
Yeah. where did I get to? Strikers, right? So, now this is where, like, I can understand, Michael, why you've had, like, wanting to put everyone on the pitch here, because it's just such a plethora of talent. I've gone really with kind of like, okay, these guys scored a lot of goals. So I've gone, and I know Salah's not really, but if it's like this kind of 4-4-2, I've gone Owen and Salah. Because, like, I know a lot of Liverpool fans hate Michael Owen, like to kind of forget that he was there because he went to United. But Owen is my childhood hero, and when I saw him play and the goals he could score, when he was in his prime, that man was unstoppable. So I've gone for Owen and Salah there.
Can I just say two things? One, what is it with you two and no love for Robbie Fowler?
Fowler is that do you know how many hours I spent putting Fowler in?
Also, a thing I have, another thing, sorry to interrupt. Can I just say thank you for sticking in Michael Owen, because I don't think he deserved the stick he got. Because at the end of the day, if you're a player who's just been relegated at Newcastle and you're basically on your last legs and looking for a payday, and your options are Stoke City, Hull, where you'll be a first teamer, but you'll be playing with Mamadou Diarra or what? No, not Mamadou Diarra. Jesus Christ, we'll be playing with like Ricardo Fuller or Kenwyn Jones? Or do you go and be on the bench at United where you'll play League Cup games, but you'll be in the same team as like Berbatov and Rooney?
No, you don't do it. You don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I understood why Alan Smith went to United, but then that's me. We needed the money.
I think if he was a Scouser, it would have been different.
That's
true.
I
think so. I think because he's from Cheshire, right? So I think he kind of got away with it. And his dad was an Everton fan, I think, right? Something like that. So he was from Everton supporting family. So which most of the good Liverpool players were. I mean, with like Fowler, Matt Manaman, Carragher, they were all Everton.
And can I just say about God?
Yeah,
he was.
About God,
I'm just a bit too young for him. Like I'm 29. So like he was
Jinky
already
Johnson in his Celtic team, and he wasn't around in 1967.
But we went for players that we watched, like maybe not in person, but watched a lot on the TV. So I was just after God.
Yeah. I think my love
but he is God.
Fowler,
I won't call him Robbie. I'll call him God.
I think my love affair with Robbie Fowler is the fact that he went to Leeds, and I actually thought he was really decent if he hadn't have been injured most of the time, because he did score.
The day he went to Leeds, I had Leeds fans as friends, and we were all waiting for the news, and he's gonna stay, and then they got him, and I was I didn't want to go.
It's all right. It didn't work out very well in our favour, because a couple of seasons later we got relegated and he left before then to go to Man City.
Yeah. He did to City. Matt Manaman, of course, also went there as well, didn't
he? Nicholas Anelka, David James.
Yeah,
exactly.
It'd be interesting. I don't think Liverpool fans would defect to the blue side of Manchester now because there's more of a rivalry for him. But back then, I think it was.
Well, Sterling did.
Yeah, it was like going. It's like signing for a US team, wasn't it? It's like, that's fine.
It was, yeah.
Like, who is it? Man City. Go. That's a thing. So the main theme of this podcast, which actually turned into two themes, because we are going to do a quiz later, but the main thing I wanted to do was about footballing opinions. Now, I don't know if any of you have written some. I wrote some. Pardon the picture there. I wrote some, which I want to just put to you, and whether you agree or disagree. There are some of the, like, I've written them, and these are not necessarily ones I agree with. I just thought I'd put them in. So I'll start off, and then if you've got any that you'd like to add, that would be fine. So the first one I went for is, as long as Gareth Southgate is in charge, England will not win anything.
I think you could just take out that as long as Gareth Southgate's not in charge. And it's still applicable.
I think so.
England won't win anything.
Really? You don't think that?
With or without?
Really?
There's too much pressure from the media. It's not a healthy relationship with like the footballing fans and the team. I think it's. I remember seeing this game in Plymouth. Like I think it was it was a few years back. But I forget which tournament would it have been. Would it have been When was I there? I was there in 2000 and
It'd be the Euro 2012 or
16. No, it was after that. What was the one after that? Which was World Cup? Which
the World
World
Cup.
Cup
There's
was
World Cup in 2014
that'll
when we got
maybe it was
knocked
that
out
one.
in the groups.
No, it was.
Are you on about with
Was it
Southgate in
20?
charge?
Yeah.
Oh, then it'd be World Cup 2018 and Euro.
Yeah.
The Euro.
Yeah, that was in it. And I remember watching this game in the Weatherspoons and just like I don't know how to describe it. Like the atmosphere with England fans, you can almost feel this kind of expectation and disappointment waiting to happen. It's like something tangible in the air. It's really odd, and you build yourself up because don't get me wrong, as supporting a big club like Liverpool, you also get to you're in big cup games and you have that feeling, but it's not the same as watching an England game. I feel like with an England game, it's almost like they're almost ready for failure and they want the failure so that they can pounce on that and go, look, see, we were rubbish and we weren't able to do that. And, do you know what I mean? It's almost like a self-deprecating thing.
You mentioned about like media expectation.
Yeah.
So during the week, this isn't about England, but it's about media bias and whatnot. During the week, Carragher and Neville went to interview Eric Ten Hag. Now, anyone who's been living under a rock, United are bottom of the Premier League. What was that? They're bottom of the Premier League. After 2 games, having scored 1 goal. But the thing is, after 2 games, they're there having this interview with Eric Ten Hag, like sort of laying into him, asking him these questions. And it's like, why didn't you do this with Ole when things started to hit the fan? Just because the start was amazing with Ole. It's like the just the level of bias. If it was an English manager, they're like, oh no, give him a chance. And they're like 2 games in for a foreign manager. Fire him! Sack him!
Yeah. Again, but United, I think they're a similar kind of position to like, they have that expectation which they don't deserve at this moment in time because they haven't, and they're not the team. Yeah. And they're not the team that they were. And I think it's kind of a similar thing with England because even though England haven't won anything since basically since 1966, there's still this kind of like expectation because they did once, they should be doing this. Like I think we were chatting last night, right? That United aren't really a big European force, but they kind of expect themselves to.
Like since they last won the Champions League in 2008, Chelsea have won it twice. City have emerged as a threat in the league and have won like 4 or 5 league titles. Liverpool have won was it the 19th league title or the 20th? Yeah. Sticking with England though, another one. Actually, here's a little. I didn't put this in any quiz, but here's a little question for you. What year was the last thing that England won? What year?
Ooh.
Of any sort
of
tournament.
Senior team?
Senior team, yes.
60. Was it that Nations League? Didn't they win?
No, we have never won the Nations League
or something. Well,
the ladies one. You're talking just about the men's.
I'm talking about the men's. The ladies, well done, the Lionesses.
Yeah, they just won. So that's not far back. Ooh, I don't know. The only thing because as far as I can remember, it's all either like finals or semi-finals at best, right? And then I don't know.
Go on.
The answer is 1997. They won a World Cup tournament. Won a World Cup warm-up tournament like the Confederations Cup.
They did.
Le Tournoi.
I had this on VHS.
Oh, come on.
It's a trophy.
That is not a win. That is not a win.
It's a trophy.
It's not a win though. Yeah, it's just.
All right, it's like the Intertoto Cup where you get given a piece of paper to say you've won something, but it's still a thing. You'll have some England fans like, what about Le Tournoi in 1997? And people will go, oh, go away. Sticking with England, though, another opinion I put down was the golden generation of 06 is worse than the current squad.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'd give that an F.
Not in terms of individual talent, but yeah.
There you go. In terms of individual brilliance, no, it's better. But in terms of like team ethic and cohesion, then yeah, it's much worse. Because I don't know if I've heard interviews where they talk about that time, and you have players from United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, all fighting for league titles, who were like, I don't want to give away anything, just egos.
But all you need there is a manager who knows that and can build it in. Like, who refuses to accept that you're going to sit on United tables and Liverpool tables. Like,
exactly.
force them. Like, no, we're not going to do this. you're English first. Like, yeah, you get paid by Liverpool or whatever, but you're English first.
Exactly.
So, like, you can't argue with that team. Like, all the 11 is ridiculous. But yeah,
it is ridiculous. Yeah, like you said, somebody should have like grabbed them by the reins and be like, "Come on, let's make this work." Because yeah, it's crazy. You know, like let's talk about you can't play Scholes and Gerrard and Lampard on the same pitch. Why not?
Stick them in a 3.
Just attack. Just attack.
Yeah. The defense can sort itself out. Just go.
Yeah, get a diamond in there.
Just have a team of midfielders and strikers. Forget the defense. Be great in attack and shit at the back, like Leeds. Next one. What's one? I'm gonna have a look at some. Right. Here's one. This is one for you as Liverpool fans. Brendan Rodgers was only dismissed by Liverpool because Klopp was available.
No.
There's lots of theories about this. My dad has a really funny theory.
What's his theory?
Right, you know, because Brendan Rodgers, like during the kind of end of his tenure, he started having an affair with like the secretary.
Oh Jesus!
Or some secretary. So he changed his wife basically. He got divorced because he'd been married to his wife for a long time, and she was a similar age to him. So you know, like she was starting to, they were both starting to look middle aged. But then all of a sudden, Rodgers started to get his teeth done, and then he was living in Gerrard's house, and it was all around this time. Towards the end of that season, and then he got this new woman, had his teeth done, living in Gerrard's house, and then suddenly the leak slips away, and you know
that's crazy. A conspiracy theory.
There's a Brendan Rodgers conspiracy theory, which I bet you've never heard before.
But you don't think
Who's the secretary? Is it someone from the club or?
Yeah, it was someone who worked on like reception, some blonde. I think it was like some blonde scouse lass, you know what I mean? They were social all made up and they'd have gone, oh yeah. yeah.
But you don't think, Michael, that Klopp's availability was what swung it for Liverpool?
I think it was a happy accident. Knowing that he was available was like, okay, it's time. Maybe if he wasn't available, it would have maybe eked out another month or so.
Here's the thing, because I'm a massive Noel Gallagher fan, and he often says that City would not have allowed Liverpool to get Klopp had Guardiola not been available, or they'd not had him in the pipeline.
But I think Klopp, he was, from what I've heard from his interviews, is more like he wanted a club that kind of fit. Because from what I gather from him, is like he's kind of like a person who focuses very much on the soul of something. That I know that sounds kind of whatever, but he sees a club like Liverpool and thinks, okay, look at the history there, look at the depth, and look at what the fans stand for and all that kind of thing. So I think he was quite particular. That's why he was like a Dortmund, you know, like the Dortmund is similar kind of club with that kind of feel. And if he couldn't have that connection with the club, I don't necessarily feel, because who would go to empty Man City? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, I went to the empty had once to watch them play Bristol City, and they're there. That like Bristol City led for large periods of the game. They win in the last minute. It's a League Cup semi-final first leg, and all the City fans are looking up at us, like the Man City fans, like, and it's like, congratulations, you just beat a championship team who their season budget is like the yearly salary of one of the tea ladies.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let me find another opinion that I've got here. The Leicester City title win wasn't as surprising as Blackburn Rovers in '95.
Yes and no.
I would say I would say it was completely surprising, but I'll say why in a bit.
I think the Blackburn's was surprising, but then you've got to factor in the fact that they had the money and stuff like that. But I think nobody really predicted where as soon as that Premier League money came in, I don't think anyone really predicted what direction it would go, and I don't think they saw that coming. Do you know what I mean? So we can look back and go, oh yeah, we saw that coming, because you had Chelsea and Man City and those kind of clubs. But like, I think at the time, nobody would have seen that coming, that like a team like Blackburn would be able to compete for the title. That being said, Leicester winning was just ridiculous.
My theory behind that is the fact that Blackburn, they had a local businessman as their chairman, Jack Walker. In the seasons that he was
Right.
there, they'd spent money and were consistently in the top 4. Like the season I mentioned, Norwich challenging for the title, Blackburn finished, I think, second. So they were making strides towards that, and
Definitely.
to get a title challenge. With Leicester, the season before, they'd spent most of the season bottom, and then achieved the greatest of all great escapes. I personally think it's more of a great escape than West Brom's. To be bottom at Christmas and then be mid-table, amazing. And then
have Nigel Pearson is your manager.
Yeah, I know. Who is more of an ostrich than the person he called an ostrich. But yeah, and then to go on and win the league the next season with the Tinkerman. This is the thing. Doesn't matter what Claudio Ranieri does now, regardless of how many teams he gets fired by, he will always have that on his CV.
Yeah, he won the Premier League. Yeah, I think when you put it like that, I think probably then Leicester is the more surprising.
Yeah,
and almost in a way because it was like in the early 90s, it was more kind of a level playing field if you could get onto that kind of like commercial bandwagon and invest in your club and get money in or whatever. So
yeah.
I think that's
Blackburn,
where Liverpool.
And Blackburn had like a once in a generation striker.
Yes.
Vardy's good, but I would say like their best player was Kante, which was like under the radar a bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think Kante was a good.
When you consider Kante was playing like amateur football 4 years previous, and also the fact they had Riyad Mahrez, who they sold him a couple of seasons later for near 80 million. Do you know how much he cost them?
Yeah, was it like 700,000 or something?
£40,000.
That was it. That was it. I knew it was in the thousands.
The only player I know that went for that cheap was Shinji Kagawa going to Dortmund for £10,000 when he first went there, and Alex being signed by Chelsea for £1 because of a co-ownership thing they had. I'll do another couple before we move on to a quiz of quizzes. What shall I say? Right, actually, we'll do quick fire this next one. Leeds will win a trophy before Man United.
I hope so.
Technically, we already have.
I mean, it's
no chance.
Technically, we already have.
I want it to be true, but no chance.
We won the championship trophy in 2020. It's a trophy. It's a league title.
Technically.
Yeah. So therefore, we've already done it.
Say Leeds got into like the FA Cup final with United. Do you think they'd win now?
I would totally back my boys if we've got that far.
Maybe. See, because that's the only way I could see that either of them winning the trophies. It went on some free cup run, but then it's going to be down to like who turns up on the day. So,
well, this season I would like. I said to Michael last week that this season I want us to just be steady in the league so that we're not going to the last day of the season to cement our status, and then maybe the season after I'd like a cup run. What's another one? Oh. I already know what Jimmy's answer to this is going to be. The Old Firm Derby is the best game in Britain. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I could just watch, if they could only just show the stands, don't show me the football. The football is there. Just show me the chants, show me the fans, show me the fights, show me the bar. That's what I want to see.
There's a lot of like the outside thing and the atmosphere and all that kind of thing. I think the thing that goes around off the pitch, I think obviously that builds up and makes it. But in fairness, on the pitch, there's always like, it's that one. It's that big challenges. It's one game of football where they feel like they're going to war. You know what I mean? And the players really get into it as well. Usually when you're playing football, you have a more measured approach to like these are the tactics we're going to play. This is what we're going to do, etc. But on that game, that goes out the window, and you really just see like people just clogging the crap out of each other and your cards and goals as well. Don't forget the goals. It's not like it's without goals. You get amazing goals because they're really pushing for it. They can't lose that pride. So exactly. I think in that sense it really is. And even when the Scottish League has been crap, which let's face it, unfortunately I have to admit, it's been crap for a long time now. We were talking about 2003 earlier. It kind of got worse from then onwards.
Well, I think not having Rangers in the league for about 4 years did not help.
Yeah, with them with them bankrupting themselves and becoming a new club. Sorry, that's good.
No, it's true.
That's a controversial opinion.
The thing is, like, Rangers weren't there for 4 years, and the money wasn't exactly being shared out to like Aberdeen and that. So teams like Aberdeen and Hibs couldn't compete. Hibs are my Scottish team. I love Hibs.
Let me just run
I'd
a few.
like to see the Edinburgh team bigger.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh, no, go on.
Two more. El Clasico is overrated. Yes, agreed. I think.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. Previously,
No,
no.
I because before it was all about Messi versus Ronaldo, and then the other other 10 players that were on the pitch. It was maybe more underrated in the 90s, early 2000s, but I think it's completely overrated now, especially when you consider. Let
me just bring you onto this one because it kind of meshes in. Tiki-taka style football is boring to watch.
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh.
I don't like it. It's boring.
No.
Some City games, they can win it 5-0, and I'm like,
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
It is. Do you know the best? Because I feel like with Tiki-taka, I feel like the team that influenced that was Arsenal and the Invincibles. But the thing was, Arsenal's football, like, it was beautiful, but it was very direct and very quick.
Yeah, it's quick. Like, just watching Spain in some of those World Cup games, Jesus, I was bored to tears.
I like Gegenpress. Gegenpress is fun to watch.
I mean, if it's my team playing that way, then
sure. Yeah, exactly. If
to
Leeds
death
want to
and
start
win.
playing tiki-taka, one, we'd get spanked. And two, it would just be like, yeah, I'm all right with this. The worst type of football is the sort of when it's all style and no substance. Although, to be fair, if you're a United fan, you'd take style at the moment anytime.
You'd take anything.
Let's sign a centre-back who's 5'8". Oh, he was great in Holland. Yeah, because in Holland, they don't lump it up front all the time.
No, there's no wet Wednesday nights in Stoke in Holland.
Exactly. Oh, speaking of that, Messi and Ronaldo are not the greatest of all time.
That's literally the next one I had.
They're not. And the reason is because I think Jimmy and I have had this conversation. This whole idea of greatest of all time, you can't compare because the legends of the game play during different eras. No one can say that Maradona is better than Pele, or that, Ronaldo scored more goals than Pele. Yeah, but considering Pele played at a time when you could get your kneecaps broken and it would be seen as, play on.
Look so physical. If you watch those offensive Pele, it's so physical. So physical. You're looking at him, he's dancing around what essentially rugby tackles with legs.
Yeah, and it's on a pitch that's like plowed.
Yeah, exactly.
Knives and stakes in it. And so some of his goals are counted from the Brazilian army.
Yeah.
Some of his thousand goals are from the Brazilian army. But yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Maradona, Pele, Cruyff, OG Ronaldo. Yeah, I'd rather have them in my team. English managers are right to not get the big jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, because why this line leads me on to another point. It's like why are Scottish managers so much better than English managers? Do you know what I mean? It's like if there were some Scottish managers available for the England job, then you go, okay, yeah. But for English managers, I'm trying to think of which was a good English. You can think, he was all right. I could think of some like I think Sean Dyche did a really good job at Burnley, and I think
I feel like the FA shot themselves in the foot by not hiring Harry Redknapp when they had the chance. I feel like Redknapp would have been decent.
Oh, really?
But then he would have tried putting Nico Crankiar in the team by some sort of thing. Yeah, Nico Crankiar. Try and bring Peter Crouch out of retirement and put him up front with Defoe. Here's our strike force. It's got a combined age of 80.
Oh dear.
Good for shits.
Yeah. Right. Do we have any more opinions, or shall we move on?
I just got one more. Oh yeah, go on.
Go on, let's go, Jimmy. Oh, go on. You go first, Michael. Then I'll do mine. Sorry.
All right. I just got VAR is good for football.
VAR is good for football.
Ooh. And on the whole, it's been a success.
On the whole, it has not been a success, but I still maintain that it is good because we've been needing the technology. It needs to be quicker. The offsides need to be really. When you're getting called offside by a shirt or the tip of your little
But
finger.
they've stopped doing that now. They have stopped.
True, but still.
They have stopped doing that. There's like a margin.
I feel like VAR has definitely been a success, but it does need to be a lot quicker. Jim, what about you?
I think, yeah, I mean, I'm a bit old-fashioned, so I'm a bit like, well, I don't necessarily think it's needed in football. But then, like, if I think about when I watch kind of like the kind of video technology in like rugby league or something, which I like to watch, or this kind of thing as well, where it's been, and it's very much essential and it's needed to see when the ball's gone over the line and things like that. So and same with VAR in football, I can see that it's obviously a great tool to have, you know, it makes things fair and all this. But there's some games that I've watched where it just feels very stop-start, which I think is okay for like rugby sometimes.
Yeah.
But like sometimes if you get too much of it, but then the games I'm thinking of are a few years back. So I think actually maybe it has actually improved a lot since then, and you don't have so many issues. So you know, it's one of those things. I think, like you're saying, it needs time to become become the norm, and then it becomes more fluid, and people know what they're doing, you know what. And then of course it's a great tool to have because you don't want anything ambiguous. You don't want people going later or like, oh, blame the ref because he didn't get this right. You know, the ref needs that support to go like, actually, that decision. Look back. This was the decision based on this, based on this. So I think in that sense, it's a good thing to have. But at the same time, I kind of miss the old just have the linesman and the ref and just let them call it. And it's
one thing I will say,
frustrating.
One thing I will say about it though is, as much the problem is they should have brought it after the 2010. Was it 2010 World Cup where
Lampard goal?
Yeah, they should have done it then. Then we would have had 11, 12
just
years
for that game right there.
Yeah, true. But then we would have had 11, 12 years of it going. Actually, they should have introduced it during that game between Spurs and United when Pedro Mendes twatted the ball in from halfway and Roy Carroll's hands are made of jelly and he scrambles it and it's like, it's a goal. The ball is more than a year over the line.
Yeah.
My thing about VAR is I want it to be more like the American style, like with NFL. It all goes through one central body. Like if there's a replay that needs to be watched by the same group of people. So like every Premier League game, if there's a VAR decision, it goes to these same people. So it gets consistency. Because the most annoying thing is like, oh, you look at one tackle and it's a red card. You look at another and it's like not even a yellow. So if it all goes to the same group of people, but you still got that individual ref making the on-field decision.
Yeah.
But then if it needs be that VAR, it's all like a group of 5 people or whatever, one, or whoever it may be.
The referee's judgment should be trusted first and foremost, unless it is a glaring thing. Like if the referee has said,
"But why? What's the point in rules then?"
Yeah, good point.
Why, if they've got it wrong, and the ref, the VAR is not, they're not following the rules, or it's like a slight interpretation difference of the rules. Then what's the point? Like, why? Why are these like fucking sacred people that we must respect? Why?
See you point there because actually, like in football, like if I compare a football referee with a rugby referee, and a football referee doesn't anyway have the same power or respect that a rugby referee has. Anyway. So then, you see, what happens with the rugby referee is that they'll go to like the video, and then they'll come back to the referee, and then they'll make the ultimate decision. So they can still go with their decision, or they can do that, but that's because of what game rugby is, and rugby it all kind of goes up to the referee, but football does not at all. It doesn't. So I think for football, the most important thing is that the decision is right on the pitch, right, and the the goals and tackles and whatever are called correctly. So in that sense, then maybe the power of the referee isn't necessarily needed.
But I feel like rugby, with how rugby's played, it's so linear. Like it's much easier for the referees to see exactly what's going on. And he can get right up close to the action. Like it can be very fast, but also very slow at the same time.
Yeah,
so it's easier for the referee to be zoned in completely on what's going on. Whereas football, you could have so many different moving parts, all 360 around you. Like if you're facing this way and the goalkeeper punches a striker, no one sees it. Then stupid.
Yeah, no, that's true because of the kind of nature of of how it's played, and like you say, you've got players all around the pitch at one time. If you're comparing the two sports, then it is much harder in terms of visibility everywhere. So So yeah, in that sense, I think you need basically the referees need help. I think that's what they need. They need that help, and they need to be trusted. And like you said, if it was like a single body of all the decisions went through that, I think that then there's no because they've got the rule book next to them. You've got some right football geek types who are like going through they're the experts in the field, and then they'll have no emotion attached to it, but they'll just go, that's the decision, right, based on this and this,
Yeah.
and then that gets called back to the referee. Done. And yeah, if that's an ideal situation, I think.
What's your opinion that you found, Jim Bob?
Oh, I was just going to pause because you're a Leeds fan. This was my Leeds are the best team in Yorkshire.
Yeah, we are. Statistically, historically speaking, yes, we are. All right, we haven't showed it in the last few years until recently, but yeah.
Are there any other contenders though that you would think like, okay,
Sheffield
maybe
Wednesday,
like
Sheffield United,
well,
Huddersfield.
the Sheffield clubs and Huddersfield. I mean, at least in recent
Wednesday
years,
would
they've
be
kind
more
of made
based. Wednesday would be more based on being in the Prem during the 90s. United would be more based on a couple of seasons back, and Huddersfield as well when they got to the Prem.
What about Hull?
I think you're the most
Hull is not Yorkshire. I don't care what anybody says.
successful with that, Dan, right?
And I just said that just to tickle you.
It's not. It's closer to Newcastle. Like when they said Middlesbrough used to be part of Yorkshire. Yeah, but it's not now. So stop.
But Hull is part of Yorkshire now, though, right?
Just because on Pro Evolution Soccer they got called Yorkshire Orange, I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Really?
They did, yeah.
Brilliant.
Right. We're now gonna segue into. So originally this would have been like an entire podcast for in the future, but Michael actually thought this would be a good idea. So anytime we have a guest on, we're gonna do a quiz. We're going to test them on certain things. Now, all three of us are going to have questions thrown at us because we're going to have a leaderboard, which I've, got written down all ready to go. I've written 20 questions for Jimmy and for Michael. So we're going to do Jimmy's first. Yours is a mix of Celtic and Liverpool questions that I either came up with in my head or I Google. Michael, yours is strictly Liverpool related, and there will be questions maybe about other clubs but connected to Liverpool, if that makes sense. Jimmy,
are we having a time limit, by the way?
Do you have a
never
timer?
decided on that.
We can have a time limit. Yes, we'll give you 2 minutes on the clock, but I will rack through all these questions.
I'd just like to say that I've not been with my football trivia as I used to years ago, so I'm expecting to be very rusty. So I apologise to both Liverpool fans out there.
Are you ready, Mr. Jim Bob?
Ready is a strong word, but go
on. Michael, are you on timing duty?
I am.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go. Who scored the goal that drew Liverpool level in the 2005 Champions League final?
In Champions League final. Oh God, that's good.
Smeaton, Gerrard, or
2 names I've got in my head. Is it Smeaton? I think Smeaton. I think
nope,
it's
you are wrong. It was Xabi Alonso. Which club did Divock Origi sign from? Which French club did Divock Origi sign from?
French club. I don't know. I don't know this. I'm gonna say like Lille.
Lille is correct.
Ooh.
Chris Commons was a decent player for Celtic, but which two rival teams did he play for in England? Was it A, Portsmouth, Southampton, or B, Derby, Nottingham Forest?
Derby, Nottingham Forest.
Correct, Amundo. 4. What do Abel Xavier and Nick Barmby have in common apart from being a bit shit?
And Nick Barmby. Oh, did they play for a club or something? They played for Hull or something like that. I don't know.
They both played for Everton before ending up at Liverpool.
Everton, of course, yeah. Barmby.
Which player was meant to sign for Celtic before ending up as Rangers' first Catholic player? Mo Johnston or Ian Dorrant?
Oh, Mo Johnson was Rangers' first Catholic player, yeah.
Who was the manager of Porto when they beat Celtic in the UEFA Cup?
Jose Mourinho.
What was the first final Jurgen Klopp guided Liverpool to?
The Europa League final.
You are correct. Liverpool famously beat Manchester United 4-1 at Old Trafford. What was the name of the left-back who scored a worldie of a lob? Was it Alberto Moreno or Andrea De Sena?
Was it? Oh God, I can't remember. I'm gonna go. I don't remember too much. They're saying that, I don't remember.
You are correct. And for a bonus point, which English team did said left back go on to play for? Was it Lincoln, Leeds, or Leyton Orient?
Ooh, I don't. Leyton Orient.
Yes, you are correct. Even if it ends at naught, I'm still answering doing all these questions. Who was the goalkeeper that kept a clean sheet in a Champions League match against Barcelona for Celtic? He was a teenager at the time.
Oh, I don't know. It's not Bain or someone. No, I don't know.
No, it was David Marshall.
No, I don't know. Oh, Marshall, of course, yeah.
It was David Marshall. Question 10. Daisuke Maeda, Kyogo, Ryo Hatate, and Yosuke Ideguchi are the first Japanese players to play at Celtic since who?
You didn't say Nakamura, right?
No.
Nakamura.
Nope. It was a guy called Koki Mizuno. Who scored more goals?
How many Japanese players have you guys had?
A lot.
A lot of license.
Which Lancashire team did Chris Killen play for before he joined Hibs and then Celtic? I have a shirt of said Lancashire team.
Oh, you got Oldham then. Oldham,
Yes.
you give me the answer. Yeah.
Scott Brown is one of the most high-profile Hibs players that joined Celtic, and he went on to have a successful career. But what was the name of the striker they signed from Hibs in 2006? Blonde-haired, had a mohawk.
Yeah, now you're testing me. I don't know.
Derek Ryden.
Oh, Ryden.
True
I
or
forgot
false?
we signed Ryden.
True or false? AD Steve Bruce.
He doesn't. He's not a looker, but he's not Steve Bruce. But he's not a looker. Yeah, I get it. Sorry.
No, the answer is true. He looks exactly like Steve Bruce.
Yeah, he doesn't really. I mean,
Yes, he
based
does.
on what?
Based on
what evidence?
general side by side.
Basically, you're saying that any bloke who's not handsome is Steve Bruce.
I'm saying they look, like concrete slabs, so they look alike. Anyway, who was the bald-headed Who was the bald-headed Dane that played for Celtic via Everton and Real Madrid?
Oh God!
Bald-headed Danish player played in centre mid for Everton and Real Madrid, and then went to Celtic.
Oh.
Early 2000s.
When I hear it now, go on.
Thomas Gravesen.
That's his name. That's it.
Gravesen, of course.
And who did
I am kicking myself now.
And who did Gravesen assist with a long pass that led to a stoppage time winner for Everton against Arsenal in 2002? Remember the name.
Rooney?
Wayne Rooney is correct. Which former Leeds and Liverpool player is the new Celtic assistant manager?
Leeds and Liverpool player. Oh God, I haven't even looked at the assistant managers, to be honest. If I'm being, with a new squad. Who is it? The former Leeds and Liverpool player, right?
Former Leeds and Liverpool player. You signed him from Leeds for way too cheap.
Oh.
Australian.
Oh, is it? It's not Kuehl.
It is Harry Kuehl. I'll give you a he says no. Sean Maloney played international football for Scotland, but which Asian country was he born in?
Oh wow, that is a good question. Kudos for that question. I would never. I don't know. Let's go. Asian country was he born in? Sean Maloney. What was it? What were his parents doing?
Shagging. Obviously.
I don't know. Asian country. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I don't know. I honestly don't. Singapore. I have no idea.
Malaysia.
No idea. Oh, not far off to be fair.
Which Swiss player has played for both Celtic and Liverpool?
Swiss player.
Yes.
Swiss players play for Celtic and Liverpool. I should know this, but yeah, come on. Why is everyone Swiss escaping my mind? Oh God. Can you give me like a letter just to give me a clue or something?
I can't give you a letter. You mentioned him earlier.
I mentioned him earlier.
We're bringing him back and giving him some credit because he's very underrated.
Oh, of course. I can't remember the conversation that we just had. This is crazy. We're bringing him back, right? It's jogging. We're bringing him back because we haven't given him enough credit. And this player is.
If I give you another clue, it will give it away. Centre back.
I failed it because I did it. Not Honcho.
Stefan Honcho, yes.
Oh,
Right. And
Oh,
your
of course.
Celtic.
your last question, Mr. Jimmy Nuttall. Which successful Dutch club also sings "You'll Never Walk Alone" by Jerry and the Pacemakers?
There's a Dutch club that sings it as
There's
well.
about
Everyone's
12
bloody
teams
singing.
that sing it. Even Dortmund sing it.
Dutch.
PSV, Ajax, or Feyenoord?
It's either. I think I'm going to say either PSV or Feyenoord. Maybe Feyenoord.
The correct answer is Feyenoord. Well done. So now I'm going to work out your score. So out of 20, you got that one right. You got Honcho right. You got Harry Kuehl right. Rooney correct. You didn't get that it was Thomas Gravesen. You didn't say it was true that Aidan McGeady looked like Steve Bruce. You didn't say Derek Robinson.
Give me that. I said he was ugly. You're telling that means that he's a mirror replication. He's not, but he's ugly.
Here's a mirror replication. I'll send you a picture later.
Okay, give me that one.
You didn't give Koke Mizuno. You didn't get David Marshall.
No.
Leighton Orient, you got. Yeah. Desano, you got. Who was the first final? Europa League. So I'm going to put yes, you got that one right. You got the Mourinho question right. You got the Mo Johnston question right. You got. You didn't get the Xavier question and Barnby one. You got Derby Nottingham Forest correct. You got Lille correct, and you did not get the Champions League final one correct. So, out of a possible 20, we've got one.
That's the biggest shame.
One,
I didn't get that one correct.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. Out of a possible 20, you got 12.
Oh, that's better than I thought.
Not too bad.
That's not too bad. Right. Shall I do?
The first question. I should have got the first question, but I'm Gravison. I didn't think it's a question. I was annoyed about
that. It's all right. It happens. So let me just write on the Football versus Life. Let me just write Jimmy 12. This is fantastic content. Right, Michael, I'm going to do you next. You lucky man. Right. Are you prepared, Michael? All right, go.
It just needs a minute. Oh, that was just while we're waiting. That was one of the most intense experiences of my life.
Thank you very much. I've always wanted to be a
and some good questions as well. I thought some of those were good. And
I honestly found them on websites. The whole Sean Maloney thing, I had no idea. Michael has disappeared.
Yeah.
I can edit.
And I forgot about Alonso in a fight because my mind always goes to it's to Smeeta because of like.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an extra point if you can tell me what Gerrard, Alonso, and Smeeta have in common for that Champions League final.
Gerrard, Alonso, and Smeeta. What other than scoring?
Yeah, they all scored. That's it. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I thought it was going to be okay. That's good.
In that case,
they scored.
You get 13. You get 13. I originally had a question for you of who scored more between Maciej Żurowski and Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink, but due to how well prepared I was, I didn't find out the answer. So I imagine it might have been Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink.
Yeah, that's who I would go for. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
I'm intrigued by. Was it quite? I'm glad it was quite intense.
It was intense. It was.
If anyone's wondering why we're sort of lulling a bit, my colleague has disappeared.
It disappeared, yeah. But it's all right because I needed time to come down from that very adrenaline-filled experience about answering questions about Liverpool and Celtic.
I see. There's a few.
Actually, I did have something I wanted to ask you about. Like, who do you think is the greatest Liverpool striker? Because you're not a Liverpool fan, right?
I'm not.
So from an outside perspective.
From an outside perspective, who do I think is the greatest striker? Oh, that's a hard one. In my lifetime or just in general? Because if you have to go in general, you'd say Kenny Dalglish or Ian Rush. But if I had to go purely based on, like, having watched Liverpool as a neutral,
yeah,
Torres or Suarez, I would be more inclined to say Suarez.
Torres and Suarez were great. Like, I know everyone says Suarez was better, which I can agree with, yeah. But Torres, when he was in form that season or two, oh my goodness, I really enjoyed watching Torres score goals. Just incredible, you know. He was just amazing. Get a couple
Quality.
You think they were going,
player.
and then they just hit the bottom corner, and
Exactly. Good. In that case, then, since you've asked me that, who do you think's like the best lead striker of all time?
That's a good question. See, the one that always that I can remember is like Marv Viduka. That's who I can always remember from Leeds, and obviously Alan Smith as well. So those are in that era I can kind of. But I don't know. Of all time, I don't know because I'm not too well versed on Leeds in general.
I mean, to be
but
fair,
from my,
in the time I've grown up, I would say Viduka was probably up there.
I think Viduka was really good. I know I would always sign him on FIFA back in the day. Do you know what I mean? So like, I'd always try and sign Marv Viduka and stuff. That was always a good signing. I think
I always used to be Leeds on the old FIFAs. I think actually there was FIFA 2004 that I played a career mode as Leeds, and this is the season we got relegated to the Championship. I won the league. Which either the game was too easy or genius.
I'm trying to think, in those early FIFAs, like I said, I didn't even have a memory card on the original PlayStation, so any kind of season was never saved. But when I got a PS2 and I got FIFA 01, then I would, because I remember we had like, didn't Liverpool have someone like Christian Ziegler then or something like that? We had like some players that weren't there for a long time, but they were all right.
Funny you mentioned Christian Ziegler. He's in this quiz I've got lined up for Michael when Michael eventually returns.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've got some doozies on this for this
one. Because that is those kind of players that came through, like Yari Litmanen, or those kind of like heroes that have time forgotten.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, some of these are absolute doozies. Like if I was to ask you the question of which Swiss club did Mohamed Salah play for before joining Chelsea FC? FC Thun, Basel, or Young Boys?
Basel.
Basel would be correct, yes. It would be absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I got a question for you whilst we're still sort of waiting. What was the first football match you ever went to?
It was a friendly, Blackburn against Liverpool at Ewood Park. So I watched at Ewood Park, and it was. I remember. I think McAteer had just signed for Blackburn from Liverpool because I kind of remember Blackburn kind of taking our kind of like players that we didn't want at that time. They were kind of like a Liverpool B team, if I can remember. And then in goal was Westerveld, who I mentioned earlier. So I remember that one of the chants of the game was, "He's big. He's Dutch. We like him very much. Westerveld, Westerveld." That was the chant.
Hi, Michael. Michael's back.
All right.
Right. Are you ready?
Difficulties. I am ready.
Right. Okay. Since 2 minutes is not enough time for 20 questions, we'll just rack through them. Right. Go. Which Liverpool manager had a famous quote about football not being life and death, but so much more?
Bill Shankly?
Correct. Gerard Houllier, may he rest in peace, had a mixed record in the transfer market, but who was the last player he signed before Benitez came in? Harry Kewell, Steve Finnan, or Djibril Cissé?
One more time?
Gerard Houllier had a mixed record in the transfer market. Harry Kewell, Steve Finnan, or Djibril Cissé?
Cissé?
Yes, correct. The transfer was arranged before Benitez actually joined. After a loan spell at Liverpool, which Premier League team did Nicolas Anelka join? Bolton, Chelsea, Manchester City?
Oh, after Liverpool, he joined someone else?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he went to Bolton.
No, he went to Man City. He went to Bolton later on in his career, but he went to Man City, so that's no points for you on that one. Which midfielder played for Crewe in his younger days before going on to become a key player for Liverpool?
Oh, Danny Murphy.
Danny Murphy is correct. I'm just writing yes. Right. Milan Baros was the Golden Boot winner at Euro 2004, but which Premier League team did he play for after Aston Villa? Was it Cardiff, Birmingham, or Portsmouth?
Portsmouth.
It was Portsmouth, in which he won the FA Cup and scored the grand total of no goals. What were the names of the German right back and left back who played for Liverpool under Houllier? Was it A, Babel and Kromkamp, or B, Babel and Ziege?
They both sound familiar. Kroenke.
No, it was Babel and Ziga.
Fuck.
Why
Why are
did
those
Craig
names so familiar to me?
Why did Craig Bellamy do a golf club celebration after scoring against
Oh.
Barcelona?
Because he attacked John Arisa with the golf club in the
Well,
hotel.
I wrote it as because he twatted John Arisa, but yes, you are correct. During the week, true or false? Peter Crouch's best ever goal came when at Stoke and not at Liverpool.
Wait, what's true or false?
Peter Crouch.
Well,
True or
I'm
false?
asking your opinion.
Peter Crouch's best ever goal came when at Stoke and not at Liverpool.
What's your opinion, Josh?
I'm not telling. That would be giving the answer away.
So I'm being quizzed on your opinion. I'll say false.
No, it's true.
Wait, no. No, for fuck's sake.
No, it's true. Yeah, because it was against Man City from like 30 yards. Right. Robbie Keane's spell at Liverpool is remembered for being truly terrible. But which Italian club did he play for before joining Leeds in 2001?
Roma?
Nope, it was Inter Milan. What was the name of the goalkeeper who was fourth choice behind Kirkland, Westerveld, and Dudek? His initials are PA.
Oh, I know this one.
Jimmy knows.
Peter Arnold.
It's not. Jimmy, I'm not going to give you a point for it, but you can...
Peggy off exit.
Peggy off exit, yes. Sander Westerveld saved a penalty in the League Cup final during the 2001 treble-winning season, but which future Crystal Palace and Everton striker's penalty did he save? Was it A. Andy Johnson, Darren Bent, or Francis Jeffers?
Give me those teams again.
So, it was the League Cup final. This player was playing for Birmingham City at the time. Which future Crystal Palace and Everton striker's penalty did he save? Andy Johnson, Darren Bent, or Francis Jeffers?
Andy Johnson?
It was Andy Johnson. Well done. What was the final score in the 2001 UEFA Cup, now Europa League final, against Alaves? 5-4 or 6-5?
Oh, 5-4.
Yes. Apart from Milan Baros, name two Czech internationals that have played for Liverpool.
Oh, Smitzer?
Smitzer is one.
Czech.
The other one's surname is a type of food.
Type of food. Can
Get it in McDonald's.
Fries?
Mm.
Burger, Patrick Burger.
There you go. I'll give you. Well, right. This question is what's got me on the idea of doing this quiz. World in Motion was a hit for New Order in 1990 prior to the World Cup, but who was the Liverpool player who sung the iconic rap?
John Barnes.
Was John Barnes. Well done. Which Swiss club did Mohamed Salah play for before joining Chelsea? FC Thun, Basel, or Young Boys?
Basel.
It was Basel. Well done. Former Liverpool sub, Impact sub, Xherdan Shaqiri announced himself to the world with a stunning strike in a Euro qualifier for Switzerland. But which team did he score against? Was it France, England, or Spain?
For France.
Nope, it was England. I remember watching it. Who is the odd one out? Steve McManaman, Steven Gerrard, Jamie Carragher, or Robbie Fowler, and why?
Give me them again. McManaman,
the odd
Fowler.
One out? McManaman, Gerrard, Carragher, or Fowler, and why?
I will go Gerrard because he's the only current manager.
I will accept Steven Gerrard. The reason I gave is because he grew up supporting Liverpool, whereas the other three were Everton fans.
The others were Evertonians.
Which legendary Premier League American played for Liverpool? Was it Brian McBride, Landon Donovan, or Brad Friedel?
Oh, yeah, Brad Friedel.
It was Brad Friedel, yes. He started his English career at Liverpool. He didn't really play that much. El Hadji Diouf is a man that courted controversy. What did he do in a UEFA Cup game against Celtic in 2003?
Oh, he spat at the fans.
He spat at the fans. Right, and your final question. Who has made the most appearances in the number 7 shirt out of Luis Suarez, James Milner, Steve McManaman, and Harry Kewell?
Luis Suarez, Steven... Michael McManaman?
No, it was James Milner.
What?
Yep, I read that this morning. Right,
Wow.
1, 2, 3,
I thought that.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you got one more than the Jim Bob. Jim Bob I gave Jim Bob an extra question while you weren't here, so that's 14 out of 20. So Michael,
I don't feel so bad now, giving your question, seeing as you had like, what's my opinion on XYZ?
Yeah, I know. It's not a democracy; it's a dictatorship.
The goal was a bit like.
Yeah, but it's true though. The scissor kick may have been nice, but his one against City was better. Anyway, I'm ready. I'm prepared. Let's do this.
All right, Joshua Pemberton. Question 1. Finish the sentence. Manchester United are what?
Shit.
I'll take it.
Yes.
Number 2. In what year was Leeds found?
Oh, was it 1919?
1920, 1921.
It was 1919.
Correct. In what year did David the Hawk Hockaday become Leeds manager?
Oh,
13,
Jesus.
14, or 15?
It was... What were the options again?
13, 14, 15.
I think it was 14.
Yes, you're right.
He was terrible.
How many Premier League goals has Patrick Bamford scored for Leeds United? Premier League goals. 20, 21, or 22?
Was it 22? Was it 20? Ah, shit.
How many appearances did Jack Charlton made for Leeds? 553, 663, 773.
Was it B, the 600 one?
773.
Oh!
I've got some oldie questions in now.
I can tell.
Go this way. Who is Leeds' all-time goal scorer? Peter Lorimer, John Charles, or Alan Clark?
Is it John Charles?
No.
Or Alan Clark?
Peter Lorimer.
Oh, it's Lorimer.
Peter Lorimer. Yeah.
I'm going to ask that question to my dad. Oh, no,
what is the exact capacity of Ellen Road? 37,792, 37,793, 37,794.
Is it 37,793?
Oh, nope, 92.
Shit.
Oh.
Against what team during the 21-22 season did Leeds have their lowest home attendance? Was it versus Oldham, Crewe, or Colchester?
Was it Crewe?
It was.
Yeah, League Cup.
I thought that was a good. I thought that was a good question. How many points did Leeds get in the league when they last won the Division 1 title in 91-92?
Oh,
84, 78, or 82?
It was something like 78, I think.
You going for 78?
No, I'm going to go for 82.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. That's correct. Leeds' promotion back to the Premier League after a 16-year absence was made official by what second-place team losing?
West Brom.
Fulham? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, West Brom lost to Huddersfield. I remember, yeah.
They did. Which club did Leeds sign Rafinha from? Was it Sporting, Nantes, or Rennes?
Oh, it was Rennes, I think we got him from. I know he used to play for Sporting, but we got him from France.
Final answer?
Rennes, I'm saying Rennes.
Good man. Leeds' last European game was against what team? PSV, Malaga, or Anderlecht?
Was it Malaga?
Nice. Yes, it was.
Leeds'
notable manager, David O'Leary, left Leeds to manage what side? Birmingham, West Brom,
Aston
or
Villa.
Aston Villa? Who did Leeds lose to in the 1975 Champions League final?
Oh,
Bayern
Munich.
Juventus,
My dad's going to go into detail about it. We were robbed, apparently. Yeah, Bayern Munich.
Leeds owner Andrea Radzini also owns what broadcasting company? Is it Sports, 11 Sports, or
It's 11
Sports?
It's 11 Sports.
Very good.
Because they own the rights to the La Liga as well, I think.
True. Ellen Road used to be called what ground? The old Turkey ground, the old Peacock ground, or the old Pigeon ground?
The old Peacock ground. because we're known as the Peacocks.
Nice. How much was Rio Ferdinand sold for?
30 million.
35. How much?
30.
My sources told me 32.5.
Was it 32?
That might be contested.
I remember it just being 30, but hey ho. If I got it wrong, I got it wrong.
How many league titles have Leeds won? Is it 4, 3, or 2?
I think it's 3. It's 2, isn't it?
Final answer?
I know we won it in the 70s, and I know we won it in 92. I think it's 2.
It's 3.
Oh!
Why you should be looking at my reaction. Who is Leeds' all-time record signing? Rio Ferdinand, Rodrigo, or Martin Viduka?
Oh, it's Rodrigo, because we paid like a stupid amount of money for him. Viduka was like 5 million from Celtic, and Rio was 18 from West Ham.
He did. All right, and last question. When did Leeds first get relegated from the Premier League? Was it 93, 2004, or 96?
Well, it was 2004.
Correct. So
I don't know why I'm celebrating that, because it was a very dark time.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Yes!
Very good. And then just do this. Hang on.
All right, future guests of Football versus Life, the marker is set. 15 is the one to beat. And yes, there is a resemblance.
There is.
But
you were right.
But okay.
Who's who? Who is who?
Exactly.
It's very vague though.
The nose.
Bruce's got a more squished nose, I think.
Well,
who would you be more upset? Who would you be more upset with if you know, after a night of drinking, it's the morning, you're all next door. Who are you more upset that you find? Steve Bruce or Eddie Bikini?
Steve, absolutely.
You reckon?
Steve.
I reckon
He'd have some stories to tell.
Oh, he would. He'd be more experienced, you know, companion. So
and
he
with
looks more cuddly. So.
And with that, I think we've reached the perfect way to end. Thank you, Jimmy, for joining us.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. And like and share and subscribe to the Football vs. Life podcast, and we will be back again very, very soon. Goodbye.
Ta-da.